Hello. I went to National Youth Theatre. I auditioned, I got in, I did the course, and I've trained as an ambassador. And I see a lot of people talking about their audition experience and their experience with MIT, but I don't see, I don't see a lot of tips from like audition ambassadors. And really quick disclaimer to say that I am not like employed by MIT. They've not asked me to do this. They've not signed off on it. These are my own personal opinions and tips that I've found have helped me and other people going through the audition process, and people have asked me at auditions. But there's so much information on the MIT website, and they've got videos on everything. They have information about how to submit your audition, about what might happen at the audition, about the Audition Access Fund, bursaries, and the audition roadshow happening in major cities. So please go on the website, please look at everything, but these are just tips that have helped me and things that might be missed or something. But yeah, take everything with a grain of salt, I guess. Okay, I've made notes because I ramble. I think I'm going to talk about my audition experience and my experience with the company, and then you can time skip to just tips about auditions for this year. Okay, so I auditioned 3 times because they just couldn't get rid of me. But I know people who've auditioned like many times. I know people that have got in one. So it's a real range. I think it's like 6,000 people audition and like every year, and 700 would get in. My first audition was when I was 13 because I would have turned 14 before the course, and I auditioned in London with an Inspector Calls monologue, which was just wrong for me completely, and I was really shy and just didn't know what the hell was going on. So no, I didn't get in. My second audition was in London again, somewhere else, and my drama teacher, I was doing Lady Macbeth for my GCSEs, and I asked my drama teacher for a contemporary monologue, and she had the audacity to say, I can't find one. I don't know. Any contemporary monologue that will fit you. You should just do the Lady Macbeth monologue. So I did that. And then my third audition, I wasn't going to audition again. I was like, I'm done. But my third audition was in Southampton at my college because we're part of the Hugh Bonneville backed programme for free auditions in disadvantaged areas. So we got a free audition, so I was like, sure, I may as well. And I was 16 then. And I did a monologue from Crave, which I would not recommend because it's a really intense monologue, so you've got to sort of really commit to it from a very dodgy character. I think the only reason I actually got in because I got redirected by my auditioner to do it with no emotion, because I was doing it with this crazy intensity, and he was like, just drop everything, and I was like, and he was like, chef's kiss. We also got a free audition workshop, so they're doing road shows at the moment in different countries, and it's sort of the same thing. At our school had an audition workshop about what was going to happen on the day. So it used to be in the live auditions you would have a group workshop and then go in later for your individual auditions. Now they're doing it online. It's not as much of a group work aspect. I think you do still do group games, but it's not as much. It's sort of more based on the solo audition, I believe, this year, from what I've read. I got onto the junior summer intake course, which was like 450 for the course, 450 around for the accommodation in London, and I got a bursary for the course costs. I had my course, my group director, because there was 11 groups in our intake course. I had Millie Batcher, I think that's how you pronounce her name, yeah, Millie Batcher. And she was amazing, she's fantastic, and she's a Royal Court director, I believe, and she's written her own shows, and she's really inspirational, had really good ideas, did really amazing exercises with us about different types of acting, about recognising privilege in creating theatre, and we did some work that was sort of something that like I found triggering, and she just shut it down completely. She's like, fine, we'll drop it. If it's triggering you, it's done. And thank you for telling me. Which was like amazing to just have someone completely, just a director just completely like, yeah, we can change the course of this work. We were working towards, in the first week we were learning ensemble exercises, because the intake course is mostly about working as ensemble instead of just more focusing on yourself in your own work. And in the second week it was building towards a group showcase, and if you see the pictures online of the showcases, that's all different groups, pieces that they've come up with themselves. There's usually a theme every year, so our theme was changing climates, I think. Not climate change, changing climates. We did a lot of frantic assembly work because the assistant we had was frantic assembly trained, and we got to do physical workshops with, oh, what's the company name? The guy who runs it's called Cane Husbands. The Pappy Show, they did really good stuff with us. And I've seen them a few times with MIT doing other stuff. And we were also part of a choir that was led by the guy that is the baker in Beauty and the Beast. And he's also the baker in Mamma Mia, I think. That's great. It was like a 400-piece choir or something, like a 300-piece choir. After you finish the course, you become an official member, but if you want to be like part of the proper acting membership and like take part in the opportunities, you have to pay for acting membership, which is like 26 quid, 32, but you can get a bursary, and I've got a bursary every year. Once you are a member, you can join the annual casting auditions, from where they begin the rep process, choosing rep people, and also just for, they're all shows all year round. If you see an MIT show, they've been through the casting process. It's sort of the same. It's less pressure as the initial audition because you're in, but it's sort of the same. You can get discounts on show tickets through being a member. You can join the Facebook group, which has like tons of different projects like run by members. They have external writing opportunities, job opportunities, external acting opportunities through MIT. So it's like just loads of stuff, and then they have all the stuff you can get through being a hub subscriber of like the workshops. I think I'll just throw these are some photos of me at MIT, and these are some photos of. So this is some stuff I've done with NYT people afterwards. And I have got an opportunity from, actually I'm not going to say anything about it really at all, in case it doesn't come through, because that'll be really embarrassing, but I might have something coming through that I got through the external something boards. Yeah, and then once you're a member, if you fancy, you can go down the ambassador and facilitator pipeline, where I have trained to be an ambassador. I want to train to be a summer assistant, and then you can go on to train to be course assistant, assistant director, those sort of opportunities, like assisting on courses, directing courses, assisting on like all sorts of stuff. And there are training weekends based on that. If you're more interested into sort of the directing and facilitating side than the acting side, or you can go down both. I think that's everything I have to say about my experience. I've done, other than that, they do like live poem readings. I think I've done like one. So you can write spoken word audition stuff. So this year they are doing it fully online, I believe, all the auditions. So your initial audition is a self-tape, and if you upload it before the 23rd of January, you can be in for the early bird recalls and just get it done a bit faster. But otherwise, the general closing date is the 23rd of March at 4 o'clock, I believe. No, I don't believe it, I know it because I looked it up. So you have to be a hub member, I think, which is cheaper than it was, because it used to be 40 quid or bursary audition, and it's now that if you are a hub subscriber, which is like 2 quid a month, and I think there's bursaries for that as well, you can now get an audition through that. So once you become a subscriber, fill out your profile. There should be like a little bio space under your account. Take a headshot. Just if you can get a fancy headshot, or if you've got to make this photographer, great. Otherwise, just go against a wall and look ahead. You can find videos about having to take headshots on a budget or headshots at home, but it's important that you have a clear one so they know who they're referring to when they're looking at your audition. In your self-tape, so it's a 5-minute self-tape, you have to do an introduction with your name, a fun fact, an interesting fact about yourself, and your pronouns. This is like the default for NYT. That will come across in like everything you do with them. If you audition again, if you do masterclasses, if you do meetups, name, fun fact, pronoun. I've done the same fun fact for about 3 years, unless something happens to me on the day or they ask a different question. Pronouns are so important to NYT because they are so respectful. So if you have pronouns that you think people will have like an issue with, they won't. You know, they won't. It's fine. And if you want to be called by a nickname, you can say that at the start of the session as well. It's sort of anything to make you feel comfortable. That's the whole point of it. And if you're not sure, then just sort of ask. And then this year, you're giving the opportunity to either do a 2-minute monologue, a 2-minute spoken word poem, which I think you've either written or found one, I don't know, or a story that you've written. If you are a confident writer, or you love poems or something like that, and that is how strongly you feel about it, go for those. I would recommend doing a monologue because that is like the norm. I think that's what the directors are used to, but they have put this in for a reason. They are looking in NYT for more spoken word poets. They are looking for more writers, and writers that can act their own stuff. So yeah, if you've got it, then do it. But if you think like you are more confident as an actor, or you want to learn more about monologues and acting monologues, and it's a really great, if you haven't done drama school auditions, it's a really good like preparation for drama school auditions. Pick a monologue. I'd say resources for monologues, ways I found them is going on YouTube and looking up monologue competition. You will find winners, so people that have done great. There's so many different monologue competitions. There's a lot of different like blogs about monologues, contemporary monologues. The Monobox has a monologue catalogue library, which is like actresses and actors who have submitted their like favourite monologue, and there's a recording of them do it. There's also a lot of audition monologue books, especially like the National Youth Theatre one, but if you can't buy it and you're interested in a certain like play or a certain character, I just put in to Google like play name monologue, and usually it'll come up in a random blog. If it doesn't, you can put it into YouTube, and then someone will usually be performing it, and then you can just write it. It's always advised that you do read the whole play first if you're doing a monologue, but I was on a bloody budget. And then if you find a monologue you like from doing that, you can just buy the play. Okay. And then you can do a classical monologue if you want. There's loads of classical resources. I think it's a bit more difficult, and I would suggest if you are younger doing a contemporary monologue, because the text will be easier to work on, but it's your life. Live it classically if you want. Then there's 3 questions. This is just sort of include it in your interview. Answer them truthfully, honestly. Don't feel like you have to perform too much. It's just earnest. You've already performed your skill for 2 minutes, so just tell them how you feel. Answer the questions as honestly as you can. And you can re-record it as many times as you want before you submit it. But don't re-record it too much because you'll drive yourself insane. Very important to say, if you didn't get in, I had to audition for 3 years. I know people have auditioned for many more. That doesn't mean to say it's not possible in 1 year, but it's hard because the statistics are against you because there's so many people auditioning and there's not that many places for everyone. And I've seen people in their notes before, like, very good actor, but seems like they need a few more years. And I'm not saying it's like skewed towards older people because I've seen younger people get in without that, but I've seen like maybe need some more experience before they come to MIT. Just because if they let them in now, it's going to be a very different experience, learning experience for them if they're let in a few years later where they might gain more from the experience. Also, if they've got a lot of comedians 1 year, and you do a comedic monologue, they might just be looking for someone who's doing a dramatic monologue. They might just be looking for more people from one area and only some people from your area. So it's not always that you've performed badly or the people in charge didn't like you. A lot of the time it's not even up to them because the director and ambassador in your audition don't actually get to decide if you get in. They only get to recommend sort of how you should be processed and if you would fit in this year's course, if you maybe should be on another course, your strengths, your weaknesses in the audition, and then that gets taken to people who decide what this year's ensemble are going to look like. I think the mission statement is something like, we want to represent all the diversities of UK and we won't discriminate based on gender, ethnicity, sexuality. And they don't. They try so hard, harder than any other theatre company I've seen, to protect people's mental health issues, protect people from prejudice and discrimination. If you have any issues along those sort of topics, please email or tell your tell your ambassador or tell your director because they will see if they can help. And then if you are recalled, congratulations! You might do some games and then you will have, like, it says on the thing a 20-minute one. I don't know if it'll actually be 20 minutes. It might be longer, it might be shorter. And then you're expected to do the same sort of bring the monologue or the poem or the story. You can do another one if you want. You can choose a different one or you can use the same one. And then you will talk to the interviewer about your choices. They might redirect you. If you are redirected, do not be scared. It is okay. They're just trying to see if you can be redirected, or maybe they'll be like, this monologue will be so good if you just change this slightly. And there might be an ambassador in your audition which will help with your redirection. So it might be there's an ambassador who won't meet your eye line, and you've got to try and get their attention during the monologue. It's different because it's online, but in the room, I've seen people be redirected to chase someone, to be quieter, to tell it as a stand-up routine, or literally just to try it, playing it like less confidently or playing it more loudly. Like, it can be tiny directions, it can be big redirections, it can be do it like you're cutting someone's hair. It can be literally anything. Don't overthink about it. Don't try and plan ahead. You might not even be redirected. And if you're not redirected, that's not a bad thing, because people do get in without being redirected. Oh, and then you can do a poem and a song as well in your recall, but they might not have time, but you can prepare one. I think don't get attached to it too much if you're going to do a poem or a song, because it might not be included, but if you do have it, then that just strengthens your arsenal, so you may as well. But just be confident in yourself, you're probably fine. If your Wi-Fi's bad in a recall, that's all right. Tell someone and they will try and get your Wi-Fi to a steady level, or they will figure out that you have a chance to audition, basically. It won't be a barrier to auditioning. Okay, results day is on the 11th of May. So can't wait to see who's coming in. So if you do get in, there is loads more options now than there was before. There's a part-time intake course, there's a digital intake course, then the in-person summer courses. There is a junior course, which is 14 to 17, there is a senior course, which is 18 to 21, and there's epic stages, which is 22 to 25. This is just split so you're around people of sort of more of your experience level, because a 25-year-old is probably going to have learnt stuff that a 14-year-old might not have learnt. So it'll be sort of different areas and covering different sort of topics. And then you can get bursaries for all the courses and the accommodations, but you do have to be free for the date, so check the summer intake course dates before you audition. Yeah, I think that's everything to do with the actual audition. I think I can run through some sort of things people have asked me at courses, which is, did you enjoy your summer intake course? Yes, I loved it. Did you make friends easily? Yes, because basically no one knows anyone there, so it's fine. I feel inexperienced. Other people have gone to drama school. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. NYT is for people of all levels. There is a training course. They don't want people who are fully trained. And even if they are fully trained, there's always more training you can be given. Don't worry if someone seems more experienced because they've been in a West End show, or they've written something, or they've been through training. It's all right. It's okay. I've seen people at all levels get put in. People ask me if the monologue they've picked is right. Probably. If you've picked it and you've learnt it and you've decided to stick with it, that's fine. I'd say in the recall, if you are recall, because in the first self-tape you have the opportunity to mess it up when you're filming yourself. In the recall you will be doing it to someone live, so go over it again and again and again and again. I'd recommend doing it to someone else so that when you do it to them, it's not the first time, because often you'll get very nervous and you'll lose it. It's okay if that happens, you can just start again. It's completely normal, but I'd say have that preparation. A lot of the things I've done have been like in-person auditions, so it doesn't really apply for these auditions. I think if just try and be confident in what you've picked. Don't insult the intelligence of the director or the ambassadors with you. Also, don't be rude. Don't be mean, because it will be picked up on. And sometimes people do this because they're nervous. But an example from a year I won't use the exact play, because otherwise they might pick up on it and that's a bit mean and I might get kicked out of my team. But they sort of said like, I'm doing a monologue from insert famous play here. Have you ever heard of it? To like a seasoned theatre director, and they were like, yes, I've heard of the play. So don't sort of assume you know better than people. Even if you've got a really niche monologue, they might have just directed that play. But also your monologue doesn't have to be niche. If people say that it's overused, that doesn't matter as long as you connect to it. You can do Leah from DNA if you want. I wouldn't recommend it because a few people might do it, but it's your life. is your audition. But yeah, I would find a monologue that you connect to. Go to your local library because there'll always be plays. If there is a library near you that is open to everyone, like that has like a drama school attached, go there. There'll be so many plays. There will be so many plays. I think there's also an audition prep masterclass for MIT. I've never been, so I could not tell you. I think that's everything. I feel like that's everything. I think a lot of the questions I get is just people being nervous. And this day is really built for you, and a lot of people find it really fun. Like, if you haven't been to one before, it's very nerve-wracking, but most people find it really fun and they come out the other side being like, that was great. Don't know what I was worried about. Oh my God, I've been talking for absolutely years. Right, so let me know if you get in. If you don't get in, that's fine. I didn't either, but I'll comfort you if you didn't. I didn't get in for ages. So maybe it'll be another year for you, but if you feel like you don't want to audition again, that's completely up to you, that's fine, it's not for everyone. And you can just be a Hub subscriber and get that out of it without actually being an acting member. Also, there's backstage membership, which is a whole different can of worms that I can't go into because I'm not a backstage member. I wish I was sometimes, but that is sort of to do with like costume and set and props and lighting and all that jazz. They have a whole course on that and it looks very good. Anything else I've got to say? I had something in my mind and now it's gone. Oh, if you've got any questions, you can comment them. I might not be able to answer all of them, but I'll tell you. I will reply to you and be like, I don't know. If you need help finding a monologue or something, I'll say this with caution because every monologue I've ever had recommended to me, I've been like, gross, I'll find my own one. But if you are struggling, comment what sort of monologue you're looking for and I can maybe send some recommendations your way. And may as well, if I'm going to put that much effort in, you may as well bloody subscribe, because if I'm making this a whole-time job now, it's already my, yeah. And subscribe, you know, you may as well. Made it this far. I had to edit this. Good luck to everyone. Good luck every year you are auditioning. I wish you all the best. You are fantastic. You'll be fine. I promise you it's not as scary as you think it will be. Good luck, have a laugh, have fun.